Oh no, America, what's going on today? Politics and news in a funny kind of way. Tune in for the facts that make you want to shout. Laugh a little louder as we figure it all out. From the Capitol to Main Street, we got eyes on it all. Breaking down the madness behind every wall. Whether red or blue, we cut right through the haze, bringing humor to the facts in oh so many ways. On the Capitol to Main Street, we got eyes on it all. Breaking down the madness behind every wall. Whether red or blue, we cut right through the haze, bringing humor to the facts in oh so many ways. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind. Only on Oh No America you'll find. There's an elephant and donkey both on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. There's an elephant and donkey both on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From the healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. Educating the masses with a smirk on our face, bringing clarity to the headlines in this crazy race. From the White House to your house, we cover it all, putting humor in the facts, we're having a ball. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind. Only on Oh No America you'll find. America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind. Only on Oh No America you'll find. Only on Oh No America you'll find.
Welcome, everybody. Hi, I'm Nora. This is Oh No America, and we're here in my garage, coming live to you from the great state of Oregon. And what are we doing here? What's happening? What's up with that? Why are we here? Well, guys, we are here to talk politics, specifically American politics, everything that's going on, everything that can happen, that is happening, that we're thinking is going to happen, and all of that combined. One thing that we are going to do, and we're going to be on this journey together, is we are going to talk about what American politics is supposed to be per the Constitution of the United States, what powers each branch of the government has, and what that means for you and me as citizens of the great old U.S. of A. Caroline, am I exhausted? The answer is yes. For those of you who only watch me here on the Politics channel, I have two other channels, one of which is Raised in Scientology, where I talk about exactly that, being raised in Scientology and all the shenanigans that are going on there. And today, I did a 5-hour stream. I almost moved this one again, but I'd already bumped it like twice. So I figured I had to show up. It's a commitment. I'm here. I'm queer. Get used to it. And we're going to talk politics. All right. So the first thing that we're going to go over here, guys, and this is going to be a little, you know, some of you guys are going to know these answers and some of you are going to be learning, and that's okay. Okay. So I had all this laid out, but let's go over these things here. Okay. The first and most important thing, is the preamble of the Constitution. Okay. This is the most important part to me because it lays out what the purpose, what was on the founders' minds, the founders of America, when they were authoring this document. Okay. So let's go over that right now. My thing is not in the right position. Here we go. And now we're sharing. All right. So the preamble to the United States Constitution, the first 52 words of the Constitution, which introduce the rest of the document, it establishes the Constitution's main objective, ideals, and purpose. Okay. So if we scroll down here, we'll just see the actual preamble. Okay. This is a copy of the Constitution, the first page. Okay. So the preamble is here. They've done a great job of highlighting it for us here. And the preamble states, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. Please hold 1 second here. There we go. Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, it's capitalized, welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, for us and the generations after us. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Not of, for it. This is very important to understand the language with which the founders were speaking, because they were very direct, very specific. They want everybody to have domestic tranquility. Okay. They want everybody to have access to justice. They want everyone to have a common defense, general welfare, food, shelter, water, a place to, do your business, and secure the blessings of liberty, this freedom that we cherish here in America, to ourselves and our posterity, for us, the founders, of course, in 1776 who wrote this, and people who will come after them. Okay, so this is super important. Now, America has 3 branches of government here. Okay, and these 3 branches have specific powers and things they can and cannot do. Okay, so the 3 branches of government are the legislative, executive, and judicial. Okay, the legislative branch makes laws. This branch is made up of Congress, which of course is divided, okay, into the Senate and the House of Representatives. The executive branch enforces the laws. This branch includes the president, vice president, cabinet, executive departments, and agencies, right? Like the FBI, CIA, DOJ, all of that stuff is under the executive branch, okay? Department of Homeland Security, all of that. And then we have the judicial branch, okay, which interprets laws. This branch includes the Supreme Court and other federal courts. Okay, the Constitution establishes these 3 branches to ensure that no one branch has too much power. There's supposed to be checks and balances between these 3, okay, to make sure that everybody is benefiting from the Constitution equally, and not one branch will try and sway that over the other. That's why there's 3 of them and not just 2. Okay. So, and USA.gov does provide this overview, right? So this branch is made up of Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives, drafting proposed laws, confirming or rejecting presidential nominations for heads of federal agencies, federal judges, and the Supreme Court, right? So if a president is nominating any one of those positions, heads of federal agencies, federal judges, or Supreme Court nominations, Congress has to approve those nominations from the president. He does not have unilateral power to just say, so-and-so is now a judge, right? It has to be passed through Congress for those people to take those. And also, unlike what most people believe, Congress has the authority to declare war, not the President of the United States. Okay. The president here is in the executive branch. Okay. So that includes the president. The president is the head of state. Okay. The leader of the federal government and commander-in-chief of the United States Armed Forces. Commander-in-chief is not a rank. He's not an official member of any of the armed forces, but he is the boss. Okay. Vice president. The vice president supports the president. Okay. If president is unable to serve, the vice president becomes president. The vice president also presides over the Senate and breaks ties in Senate votes. Now, historically, people don't know we've actually already had a female president. Okay. Some of you may not know this, but Kamala Harris was president for less than 48 hours while President Joe Biden underwent a colonoscopy. Because if the president becomes incapacitated for any reason, even surgery, okay, the vice president is sworn in as the commander-in-chief in case of emergency. So Kamala Harris has served as president of the United States. It was brief, but she did. Okay. The cabinet. That's the third part of the presidential thing here. The cabinet members serve as advisors to the president. Okay. They include the vice president, heads of executive departments, and other high-ranking government officials. Cabinet members are nominated by the president and must be approved by the Senate. The executive branch also includes executive departments, independent agencies, and other boards, commissions, and committees. Okay. Now, I have to lock that in. There, I'll leave it there. Sorry, guys, I didn't have that locked. All right. And then we have the judicial branch. Okay. And that is made up of the Supreme Court and other federal courts. Okay. It evaluates laws by interpreting the meaning of laws, applying laws to individual cases, and deciding if laws violate the Constitution. Okay. So that's the three branches. Now I made, where is my dealy bob? I made this board right here, just so we could look at this, okay, in a little graphic here, okay? So you have the three branches of government, okay? The executive, legislative, and judiciary. You have the president of the United States, POTUS, and the VP. They serve, both of them, two people, for a 4-year term, okay? And we're going to go over in a later episode, the presidential powers, okay? Then you have the legislative branch, which is made up of Congress, okay? The Senate and the House of Representatives. Now, there's 435 people in the House of Representatives, and they are elected to 2-year terms. We just did an election for that. The Senate was also up for re-election, and they are elected to a 6-year term. Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that the Senate was elected to a 6-year term. And there's exactly 100 because it's 2 for each state. Okay. Then you have the judiciary branch, which is made up of the Supreme Court, 9 lifetime appointments. Okay. 9 lifetime appointments. One of them serves as the boss, and then the other 8, do that, okay? Then you have 13 Court of Appeals and 94 district courts. This section here, like we learned, gets appointed by who? By the president. They nominate people for all of this stuff, and it gets approved by Congress, okay? It gets approved by Congress. When Trump was in office, the last time in 2020, does anyone know how many judges he appointed? Anybody? I don't know the exact number. I know it was over 40. Okay, so if you look back at that graphic, there's 94 district courts and 13 courts of appeals. He appointed over 40 judges the last time. which is how laws like Roe versus Wade got supremely overturned even after he was done being president, because those appointments are lifetime. Once you're appointed to a district or, judges stay forever. They usually run unopposed, right? Okay. So we're going to go over the presidential powers in the next episode. Today, though, we're going to have a segment in every single episode that I'm going to call the Trump dump. Okay. And this will be the update on whatever Trump is doing, proposing, or has said publicly. Okay. But let's look that up. Let me confirm that information because I'm not going to just blurt out things here. How many judges did Trump appoint? Yeah, I know that. Okay. The total number of Trump judgeship nominees to be confirmed by the United States Senate was 234, including 3 associate justices of the Supreme Court, 54 judges for the court, United States Courts of Appeals, 174 for the district courts, and 3 judges for the Court of International Trade. 12 circuit courts of appeals judges were confirmed during Trump's first year in office, which was then a record that has since been surpassed by his successor, Joe Biden. In terms of Article 1 courts, Trump made 26 appointments, 10 for the United States Courts of Federal Claims, 7 for the United States Tax Court, 6 for the United States Courts of Appeals for Veterans Claims, 2 for the United States Courts of Appeals for the Armed Forces, and 1 for the United States Court of Military Commission Review. Okay. So here's a list of the judges that Trump appointed. It's even more than 40. I had that. I was very wrong. Okay. So these are the 3 Supreme Court justices that Trump put into power during his time in office. We have Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barry. Okay. The courts of appeals. I'm just going to scroll through. I'm just going to keep on scrolling. That's 54 that he got in office. The district courts. Okay. Just going to scroll through. We're going to keep going. This guy got elevated here. Stephanie D. Davis. Yeah. 174. 3 for the trade. Federal claims, 10. Tax court, 7. Veterans, 6. Armed forces, 2. Military commission, 1. And finally, the territorial courts, 1. See, they're all confirmed, just sailed through. Not one was rejected. Not one judge that Trump put forth got rejected by Congress. How did that happen? Because he had a majority in Congress. And people don't really balk at the appointment of judges, right? Because nobody pays attention to that. But when you stack the courts in your favor, that is cheating. The courts are supposed to be balanced and unbiased and look at all sides fairly. That is not what's been happening. So let's go here. This is Donald Trump's official Twitter, okay? And he made a big announcement. This will be our Trump dump for today about who he's going to appoint, okay? So let's take a look at this. This is very important, okay? Statement from President Donald J. Trump. It's my great honor to announce that Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida is hereby nominated to be the Attorney General of the United States. We're going to officially have Butthead as the Attorney General of the United States. Matt is a deeply gifted, tenacious attorney, trained at the William Mary College of Law, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Matt will end weaponized government. Okay. And return the department to its true mission of fighting crime and upholding our democracy and Constitution. We must have honesty, integrity, and transparency at the DOJ, Department of Justice. Under Matt's leadership, all Americans will be proud of the Department of Justice once again. Okay. The second part of this announcement, it's, oh no, it just went to the same thing. So let's go. Here we go. Oh, I need to make that much bigger. Let's see here. Okay. Let's go here. So Matt Gaetz, Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Also on Wednesday, Trump chose Tulsi Gabbard, former Democratic member of Congress and presidential candidate, to serve as Director of National Intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard, who is also a Putin asset, will now be directing our national intelligence. Continuing to stock his cabinet with loyal personalities complementary to his own. Recently, she changed from Democrat to Republican. Yeah. She was in the Army National Guard for more than 2 decades, deploying in Iraq and Kuwait. Yes. Her family is also a cult on Hawaii that does LGBTQ deprogramming. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. This will be the man, this guy, this sweaty, strange man, will be the guy who's going to represent us around the world to foreign entities. This guy. Yeah. That's his nominee. Marco Rubio used to hate Trump, but now Gates, not Getz, Gates, Matt Gaetz. Okay, well, they should spell it correctly. I'm just kidding. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm saying that wrong. I apologize. To head new department, guys. It's a new department. Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. Trump named tech billionaire Elon Musk and conservative activist Vivek on Tuesday to head up a new department of government efficiency, for fulfilling a campaign pledge to give Musk sweeping oversight of government spending. Why this man is getting sweeping oversight of government spending, I don't know. He's not even an American, as far as I know. Has he become an American? I have to check on that. He's South African. That's what I know. I mean, that's where he came from originally. Trump said in a statement on social media that the department will help dismantle government bureaucracy and slash excess regulations. I am very frightened. The name of the agency, Doge, is a reference to a meme and cryptocurrency associated with Musk. Yes. Because when you're naming your cabinet, memes are essential. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Look at this guy. He looks like if you bought a white guy from the Sears catalog, that's what you got. Trump said Tuesday that he's chosen Fox News host and Army veteran Pete Hegseth to serve as his defense secretary. Hegseth deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan and unsuccessfully ran for Senate in Minnesota in 2012 before joining Fox News. John Ratcliffe, CIA director. This is the Timu version of, what's that guy from the Mad Men? Why can't I think of his name? This guy. John Hamm. Doesn't he look like the Timu version of John Hamm? There's this guy. And where'd my other guy go? Yep, it's Timu John Hamm. I'm going to stick with that. Okay. Earlier, Early Tuesday, Trump announced that he's nominating former Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe to lead the Central Intelligence Agency. Fun. A former Republican congressman from Texas, Radcliffe served as Director of National Intelligence in the final year and a half of Trump's first term, leading the U.S. government's spy agencies during the coronavirus pandemic. Interesting. Brought him back. Mike Huckabee, ambassador to Israel. Trump said Tuesday he intends to nominate former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee as the U.S. ambassador to Israel, a high-profile diplomatic posting in a tumultuous region. Huckabee is a staunch defender of Israel, and his intended nomination comes as Trump has promised to align U.S. foreign policy more closely with Israel's interests as it wages wars against the Iran-backed Hamas and Hezbollah. It confirmed he will be the first non-Jewish person to hold this role since 2011. Yeah, because who needs a Jewish person to hold a role about Israel? That seems weird. Also, isn't this conflicting, though? Because Trump is besties with Putin, who's backing Iran and Hamas, and now we're taking a stand for Israel. And this is where it gets conflicting, guys, because the Christian alt-right absolutely wants all Jews to return to Israel so that the second coming can happen and the rapture happens, right? And that's really why America protects Israel. Don't get it twisted. It's not because America loves Jewish people. It's because the Christian alt-right wants the rapture to happen, okay? And the Heritage Foundation, which we are going to cover in a later episode, is all about that. Okay, let's keep going with this ridiculousness. Kristen Noem, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. She's a South Dakota Republican governor to be the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. 4 sources familiar with the decision confirmed Tuesday morning that Noem has no significant experience, none, let's be clear, none, with Homeland Security issues, but has voiced support for Trump's hardline immigration policies. Because, you know, the state of South Dakota is a border state with North Dakota, and they have a lot of problems with those North Dakotans hopping that border, man, hopping it. It is, yeah, she's got a lot of issues with the roaming buffalo. And, yeah, she's going to take that hard stance on all those immigrants that were flooding South Dakota. Yeah. Okay. Mike Waltz. He's a Waltz. National Security Advisor. On Monday, 4 sources familiar with the decision said Trump picked Rep. Mike Waltz from Florida. So he's taken both 2 representatives from Florida put in his cabinet. That means we'll have to run a special election to replace them. Because both Matt and this guy are from Florida. To be his national security advisor, Waltz is a Green Beret veteran who served in Afghanistan. Thank you for your service. The Middle East and Africa since 2019. He's represented a congressional district in the House where he's a member of the Armed Services Foreign Affairs Intelligence Committees. Okay, so he has some experience. This is actually like a guy who, you know, he's seen some things. He's done some stuff. Lee Zeldin, EPA administrator. I have no idea who this gentleman is. Trump on Monday named a former New York Congressman, Lee Zeldin, to lead the Environmental Protection Agency as he continues to build out his future administration with loyal supporters. Zeldin, a Republican who mounted a failed bid for governor of New York in 2022, it's on brand for Trump, picking losers, will ensure fair and swift deregulatory decisions that will be enacted in a way to unleash the power of American business, Trump said in a statement. Zeldin will also maintain the highest environmental standards, including the cleanest air and water on the planet. You can't do both. The reason, guys, the reason why there are so many high emission standards on cars and things like that, some of you may be too young to remember the 1970s. Okay, in the 1980s, where Los Angeles looked like a brown stain on, you know, the entire earth because the air quality and the smog there was so bad. Okay, and then in the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, cars had to produce less emissions and become more efficient at the same time, which pushed cars to where they are now. And now Trump still wants to roll back these regulatory things, okay, to literally give, everybody whatever they want, but also at the same time claiming we're going to have the cleanest air and water on planet Earth. It won't happen. It won't happen, guys. It will not happen. Okay? It can't. It can't. It literally can't. All right. Oh, God, let's see who else he's appointing here. Stephen Miller, everybody's favorite house elf. Stephen Miller. Dobie is free. Dobie has been given socks. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Wonderful. Knowing that we have a servant of the Dark Lord, right there carving policy for us, A source with knowledge of the transition team's plans told NBC News on Monday that Trump is expected, he hasn't actually named him yet, expected to name Stephen Miller as his Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy at the White House. Miller, a staunch hardliner on immigration policy, worked in the White House during Trump's first term in office, serving both as Director of Speechwriting and as Senior Advisor to the President. We have him to thank for all of those speeches. Elise Stefanik, this is not a surprise that she's getting an appointment. Ambassador to the UN, to the United Nations. Holy wow. Trump has tapped House Republican Conference Chair and longtime ally Elise Stefanik from New York to serve as ambassador to the United Nations. A Trump transition official confirmed to NBC News on Monday. Stefanik has been a staunch defender of Israel in his response to Hamas, the October 7th attacks, and has been outspoken over the last year about anti-Semitism on college campuses. A day before the election, Stefanik reiterated her call for the defunding of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East because she alleges that it has been infiltrated by Hamas. I would love to see her receipts on that. I doubt there are any. Tom Homan, border czar. Yeah. On Monday, this is a great picture of this guy. I don't know why they chose that. Trump said that Tom Homan, his former acting Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Director, ICE, will serve as the border czar. In his incoming administration, Homan was widely expected to be offered a position related to the border and Trump's pledge to launch the largest deportation operation in the country's history, besides the genocide that the Pilgrims and early settlers committed against the Native Americans. They were deported forever. Okay. Yeah. Susie Wills, White House Chief of Staff, is Trump's first appointment. She's a 67-year-old Florida native, will serve as the White House Chief of Staff. Wiles is one of the most respected operatives in Republican politics. I've never heard of this woman in my entire life. Along with helping helm Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, she was his campaign manager. She worked as his state director in Florida during the previous two contests, right? She was directing his state campaign in 2020 and when he lost against Biden, or when he won in 2016, rather, and when he lost in 2020 against Biden. Okay. And that's it. All right. That article is over. Sorry, because I couldn't read all this. It's too small. Now, let's talk about Elon Musk for a minute. Kenneth, sweetheart. First of all, this is a very bold statement. A question for you, Kenneth. Quick question. Are you 100% Native American, born here on this land and descended from people who are the original peoples of this land? Okay. That's my question. People who take this hard line on immigration often forget that they themselves are the product of illegal immigration into this country because we stole this. Okay? So don't be so cranky. If we deport all the illegals, that's all of us, honey. That's all of us, including me, including you. That's everybody. Okay? So, let's let's be real here. Let's just stop screaming things into the void that are ridiculous. Okay? All right, let's talk about Elon Musk here for a minute. So here's Elon. Of course, you guys know what Elon looks like. You're 100% Mexican. So yes. Okay, well, you're from Mexico. And yes, parts of America used to be Mexico. Absolutely. So you want everybody out except for Mexican people, but you're Mexican and you don't like Mexican people coming here? I'm very confused, Kenneth. I am confused. I'm confusion. But were you born here though, Kenneth? That's the other question. Were you born in America or were you born in Mexico? You're native to this land, but you didn't answer my question though. Were you born inside the United States borders or were you born in Mexico? What is now Mexico in the year of our Lord 2024? I'm waiting. I'll wait. Okay. So the U.S. President-elect has picked Elon Musk. Okay. And again, I think he got to give this like name to himself, the Doge name. Okay. And let's just look at what Elon has to say about this. Okay. So this is Elon's tweet today from 19 hours ago. Okay. Okay, Kenneth. So you were born in Mexico and you're a United States citizen. So you became a naturalized citizen. Is that correct? You went through all the rigmarole and took the citizen test and got your green card, and then now you're a citizen. Is anyone in your family an illegal immigrant? My grandfather was an illegal immigrant. He came and border hopped here from Greece. He took a boat from Greece to Canada and then literally, jumped the border from Canada down here, stole a name off a gravestone, and Bob Drunkle, here I am. So I'm asking you, as a descendant of an illegal alien, also a descendant of a signer on the, Declaration of Independence. Okay, you did things the correct way. Well, that's very awesome. That's a very hard system to navigate and to go through. Okay, so that is, we are all citizens. Well, not necessarily. It depends. We obey the law. Okay, you obey the law. You can't talk for everybody else. I'm saying you're answering my question about your family. I'm sorry. Okay, you obey the law. You guys came here. Well, here's the deal. If anybody comes to this country illegally and they are then found to, be here illegally, they can be deported. That is a fact. I don't disagree with that. However, people accuse illegal, and I don't want to use that word, undocumented immigrants, people who are here and usurp the system, okay? But they are not getting the benefits that they are paying into, okay? Many people who come here are migrant workers of some fashion, especially people who come from our southern border countries, okay? And they are getting paid cash money, oftentimes under the table. And if they're not getting paid cash money and they're on a payroll, okay, they are paying into Medicare, Medi-Cal, and Social Security. And guess what they're not getting? They're not getting that money back because they are not officially citizens. So they cannot reap any of those benefits, right? But they pay a ton of money into those systems that they don't get out, okay? So here's my thoughts on that, okay? Just really quickly, because this is a super hot button topic, and we are going to go over this in a lot of depth, okay? But for right now, this is how I see immigration, the illegal topic, and all this other stuff. There is no getting around the fact that certain small areas of our country have been inundated with an influx of migrants from other countries, okay? And some of those areas are becoming overwhelmed by that increasing population, Okay. But it is certainly not everywhere in this country. There is a lot of space in this country that is not being taken up by anybody. Okay. There is a percentage of these, undocumented, illegal, however you want to frame it, people who are working very hard, more hours in the day than most Americans work at one, sometimes more than one job, okay, to earn enough money here because in their country, they cannot make that money and they send it back, okay? Kenneth, it doesn't even matter. But Kenneth, they're still paying into those other systems. The income tax is irrelevant. Most billionaires don't pay any income tax either, Kenneth. So ragging on, undocumented immigrants for finding a loophole and claiming, exempt, I don't really care. Okay. There's plenty of people who can actually claim exempt. They don't have any, whatever to do that. But billionaires do the same thing. Okay. They do the same exact thing. Okay. Yes, I understand if they're getting paid under the table in cash, they're not paying taxes. Mostly they are not anymore because as you can see in an increasing number of places, cash is harder and harder to come by. Most people don't even carry cards in their wallet anymore. They carry their phone around and it's digital. Okay. The fact of the matter is that this country has never, ever in our history not had an influx of people coming into it since the inception of America to avail themselves of the very well, marketed American dream. Okay. And people want that American dream. They want to go to the place where just by pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, they can make it. Okay. And now that more and more and more people are coming because that's just, fact of life, population, etc. They are being demonized. It's partially an economic thing, but it's also, and we have to acknowledge both, it is partially a racial thing. And Kenneth, as a Mexican, this does affect you. Okay. Because part of these deportation sweeps will be random checks of brown people. If you think you're going to be exempt from that, Kenneth, because you fly a Trump flag the size of my house on your truck, you are sadly mistaken. Police, over 90% of the time, racially profile people that they, engage with. That's facts. Okay. And if you think as a Mexican, because you voted for Trump, that somehow you're going to be exempt from random checks at the grocery store, random checks on the highway, papers checks when you go to check your kid in at school, papers checks when you go to the gas station. Okay. This isn't just like we're checking the people. According to who, Kenneth? According to who? I would love, show me the tax returns. Show me the tax returns where Elon Musk paid $11 billion in taxes. That is possibly the dumbest number that's ever been thrown out by an imaginary figure to say something stupid. I sound racist? No, this is, read Project 2025, honey. We're going to be breaking that down too. But read it. Listen, the fact that non-white people are going to be targeted, going to be profiled, going to be incorrectly detained. Even people like yourself, Kenneth, that are citizens of this United States will be put under a microscope falsely. When you elect a right-wing, racist who, is just missing their, KKK topper hat, that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Kenneth, this is like people who say, go ahead and publish my social security number. You can't, my identity isn't worth stealing. I hope you keep watching, Kenneth, for all 4 years that we're going to discuss Trump policy and everything else, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear how it's going as a Mexican American in this country in Trump's new white world order. Okay. Because that's what's going to happen. It's not, yeah. As a woman, stuff has already started happening. Things are already getting scary. Okay. Yeah. But for anyone to honestly think that the second time around Trump is president and he has access to a stacked Supreme Court. Yeah, now I know you're just a Trump bot, Kenneth. You're not an actual person. Like, for real, it is absolutely Trump's plan. He claims innocence, that he didn't, read it. Okay. But everybody he's appointing to his cabinet most definitely read it and has said out loud that they are absolutely putting that into play. So please pay attention, Kenneth. He can deny it up and down. He can say, oh, I don't know what these guys are doing. But every time they propose a new law, a new edict from there, and they pass it through the House and the Senate, which they're both have majorities in, and nobody from the Supreme Court will hear an argument against it because they're all, Trump loyalists too. He's got a royal flush right now, politically. Okay. So, Kenneth, I'm not trying to white splain to you, honey, but yeah, you got to pay attention. But Kenneth, I do want to hear from you. And like I said, we're going to go over all of Project 2025 on here. We're going to do that in increments. Today proved that trying to tackle something as huge as that in one go takes way too much time. Because I did a 5-hour stream on my other channel and breaking down 6 videos, and that is too long. Okay. So I was going to do a whole thing on Elon Musk, but I'm not going to do that right now. I want to end. Let me just check. If for you guys who are here for the first time, there are no mods yet on this page. I get to block them on my own. Yeah. If you type comment or question before your comment or question, then I can search it in my comment section. There is no way for my mods to star things or anything on the back end, and I don't have any mods on this channel yet. So it is kind of a free-for-all. All right. Let me check here for comments real quick. Thank you. Love P flag, my family. I love you too, and I'm glad you made it also. Total nightmare. Gifted, this accused underage sex trafficker, disgusting, not to mention incompetent. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about Matt Gaetz. Yeah. Thank you. You did tell me that. Let's note that his very first picks are all Zionists who support Israel's right to commit genocide with our money. The millions in bribes from Adelson paid off. Yep. It's not just the religious right. It's also all the bribes from AIPAC and other pro-Israel PACs. Yeah, that's true. Lanikin, I don't know how I'm here. I am running on fumes. I have to go make dinner here in a minute. The truth is both parties have done nothing to fix our broken immigration system. Correct. It doesn't help to blame immigrants who have no power while we're being taken to the bank by billionaires. Yeah, I agree. This is not in my opinion, immigration is not a partisan issue. It is something that has not been workable for many, many years. I think that the system to become a citizen is crappadoodles and needs to be revamped. And I think at the same time, we do need to regulate more efficiently and more humanely people trying to come into our country via, however, the airports, the borders, boat, plane, train, whatever. We need to be more efficient and more humane in that process, okay? And if someone cannot legally enter this country and they're not seeking asylum or something else, I agree also that there needs to be a system in place to put them in the line for citizenship, okay? Or if that is not available because of some disqualification that they have to become a citizen of our country, then they should be sent back. I'm not here to say anybody who comes to America just gets to stay and, do whatever. There needs to be an efficient, effective, humane way of granting people access to our country. That's all. That's all. Let's look at the questions here. Do I think he will appoint Marjorie Taylor Greene as anything? That's a good question. I think he doesn't like her very much, even though she's one of his staunchest supporters. I think he really has a distaste for her. He doesn't like bad-looking women. He has a thing about that. He has a thing, and I don't think he likes her because of her looks, and he is very judgy. Very judgy. I don't think she's going to get an appointment because he doesn't want her big opinions in his face. He doesn't do well with that. He doesn't do well with that. All right. Guys, hide your puppies. Yeah. Kathy Scoggins is here. I'm looking forward to learning. It's going to be a long 4 years. I tried to explain to some of my friends about what Trump will do, but I gave up. Yeah. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot. Well, Kenneth, it's not your time yet. We still have to wait till January 20th for Trump to be sworn in. These are just the things that he's proposing. Noam is not welcome on Indian lands in her own state. Yeah, because she's gross. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Diana. Marjorie Taylor Greene is too mouthy for him. He's not going to take her. Also, guys, for the trolls that show up, we have bingo handy. Bingo. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this inaugural episode of Oh No America. And I will see you guys next time in the funny pages.